I saw something recently where someone in the lending space was saying that now is actually a better time to buy than a year ago. And that, of course, really got my attention. I wasn't sure if I believed that was true or not. I know that it's a good time to buy. It's always a good time to buy real estate. There's just, there's ebbs and flows to the market. But I just have full faith that in the long view, real estate is just a great thing to have, especially if the alternative is not owning real estate. It's better to own it than not own it. But I wanted to put the idea of is now better, now being sort of the fourth quarter of 2022. Is it better than 2021, kind of the COVID era of super low mortgage rates? And so I just said, let's put it to the test. So here's 2021. You want to buy a house that's listed for 550, and I said, let's say you have to pay $100,000 over, because that was what was going on in the market. The low rates combined with low inventory created this crush of buying activity and just pushed prices extremely above what the data suggested it was worth. So realtors would bring it to the market based on recent comps, say, well, let's sell for 550. I think someone will probably pay more than this, but better to go, cheat on the low side than overprice the house, which is the kiss of death. Created this crazy dynamic. So in order to win that $550,000 dream home, we were seeing oftentimes you'd have to pay quite a bit above that list price. So let's say you had to buy it for 650 and you're going to put 10% down, you're going to waive the appraisal, you're not going to get any concessions whatsoever. So you put 10% down plus your fees and your taxes, and that's this section down here, the closing cost impact. So you have 10% down of 650, 65 grand. You're going to borrow $585,000. In this example, I'm saying, let's say you got a rate of 3.25 and you paid 1 point, and you paid some basic closing costs and your prepaid taxes, insurance, and all that, all those considerations. Your bottom line about 82,440 in this example. So you were patting yourself on the back. You got an awesome interest rate. You got a great house. You got a mortgage payment about 32.28 per month, and you're feeling great, as you should. That's everybody I know that was on the right side of that transaction last year is feeling a ton of relief to just get it over with, be in the market, be in the house that they need, and moving forward. But now rates have gone up, and it creates this other level of anxiety. So I'm going to expand. What if you bought that $550,000 house in 2022 and the rate's not 3.25, it's a full 4 points higher, it's 7.25? Here's the deal: you can buy it for 550. You don't have to buy it for 650, right? So that's the first big check box in the now is better than then. And I'm not suggesting that now is better than then, but I am suggesting that it's actually not nearly as different as you might think. So let's say that house is listed for 550. You can buy it for 550. And in this example, I'm saying you can put 15% down. And here's why. Because you can get a seller credit, and your cash to close is virtually identical. 15% down, you get a slightly lower cost of MI. You have more home equity, and your payment is a bit higher. Here, it's about $616 a month more. So that's bad, right, compared to last year. But we're also seeing not just a seller credit, but you can actually get additional credits to buy the rate down. In this example, here, I'm not going to duplicate, I'm going to expand because I already made it. So now I'm putting a third option in here. You're buying the $550,000 house. Instead of getting a $15,000 credit, you're going to get a $25,000 credit and just load up on lender premium to buy a better interest rate. So buy the rate down from 7.25 to 6.125 in this example. I added $10,000 to the purchase price because I still want that seller to net 550 minus the 15 grand, same bottom line to the seller in this example. But here, your lower interest rate, you've structured in a lower interest rate. And now, so the bottom line is a little heavier on this example. You're putting 15% down, plus you're paying 4 points plus the basic fees and taxes and getting a larger credit. In this example, this green line here, hopefully you can see that. Now your payment is not $616 a month more, but it's actually only $320 a month more. So almost you chopped the gap in half. But I want you to also think about one other thing that people don't think about, especially first-time buyers. The interest you pay on your primary residence is tax deductible. And the higher the interest rate, the better the tax benefit. So look here at this stack of numbers here. This is the principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and MI for last year's super low rate, but above list price illustration, 3229. That's all of these component pieces. The red goes to interest, 1584. The green goes to principal, 962. So that's another thing about low rates is they pay a lot more principal, less interest and more principal. But so here it's flipped. You're paying $2,824 of interest, and here it's $2,430 of interest. So when you can step on the rate to 6.125, you're pushing it down to you're trimming off the interest and you're adding to the principal. But this is what's tax deductible. If I assume you're in about a 30% income tax bracket, which most people in Oregon are, who can afford to borrow this kind of money, look at how much that changes when you layer in the tax benefit. The 2022 example of paying 7.25, you get 1139 tax deductibility. 30% of this interest comes back to you annually. So it's this annualized number, but this is what it's worth per month. So when you net out the tax benefit, it's only $195 a month more. And look at this crazy thing. If you lower the rate if you do the permanent rate buy down, it does erode your tax benefit, but because your payment is lower, it's only $33 a month more than having bought the house a year ago at the low rate. So look, there's a lot of ways you can try to poke holes in this, but I mean, that isn't nearly as scary of a difference as you might think. Certainly ended up way more exciting to me when I kind of mapped it all out. I felt like I kind of discovered something. So don't be discouraged by these elevated interest rates. And of course, when and if rates go down at some point in the future, and no one knows when, but we're all pretty certain that whoever buys real estate now will have an opportunity to improve that score at some point. You can always kind of keep tightening that up as you go along. But I thought this was a really great set of data to share. So thanks for your attention. I know I kind of went long here, but I thought it was pretty exciting. All right, happy home buying. Bye-bye.